I woke up very unhappy, very scared, just very scary, scared, really scared. Was I really scared? Yes. I had like weird feelings in the pit of my stomach before it even started. I'm scared.
Hey guys.
What's up?
What's this?
Your nose.
Got your nose.
What's this?
Fart.
Nose fart? Nosfaratu? Nosferatu, baby. Let's go.
Definitely should have stopped this
different.
podcast 2 years ago.
It's funny because the three of us have played so many hours of charades and are actually really good at it, and that's where you are.
Well, tonight we're going to suck up some cinema globin, boys and girls. Because the bad boys of horror are back. Welcome to the 16th ever episode of Two Men and a Baby, the horror movie review show where three best friends discuss a new horror movie each episode. I am your almost egregiously well-dressed host, Will Dubs.
He's looking sexy. He's looking sexy today.
Yeah, you know,
Let him know.
out here, take a look at that, dude.
Let him know, baby.
Bing bong, dude. Okay, and as usual, I'm joined to my right by musician and fellow horror historian Brendan Fletcher, dispensing the Fletch facts on your ass.
Talk to me.
And to my left by comedian and titular baby Abbie Krinsky, who's here to let all the normies know just how scary these movies are.
We saw some titulars in this movie.
Yeah, some nice titulars.
We did see some titulars.
As you've probably guessed, today we're covering 2024's Nosferatu, directed by the enigmatic Eggman himself, Robert Eggers,
The Eggman.
the Eggy dudes.
Put egging you on with these.
Starring Lily Rose Depp and like a bunch of dudes with nice hair. Let's get started. Brendan, drop that motherfucking theme song.
Hit it.
2 men and a baby, oh yeah. 2 men and a motherfucking baby.
All right. Does anybody even care about talking about their movie-going experience?
I went with some pals to Regal Essex, one of my favorites, and we're watching it. It's silent. It's pretty close to sold out theater, but there's these 2 seats in front of me that are empty. And an hour and a half into the movie, these 2 kids walk up, and it's like, I don't think they were an hour and a half late for the movie, but how did they know the seats were open? I don't know. Wild. They come up, they sit in the seats. Within like 3 seconds, one guy is making an Instagram story, just like watching the movie and filming it and typing on an Instagram story. That same guy, about 5 minutes later, I start hearing a sound. I realize he's fast asleep snoring. He just got into the movie. He's
Wait,
fast
they
asleep,
showed up an hour and a half late?
Hour and a half late.
They showed up with like 20 minutes left of the movie?
Right. Well, it's a long movie.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
but
like another 40 minutes.
There's like 40 minutes left. Then he's does his Instagram story. Then he falls asleep, starts snoring. People hear it in the theater, and the guy next to him is like, yo, bro. He wakes his friend up. Okay, cool. Then in one of the most important scenes in the movie, like the Nosferatu meeting his girl scene, which we'll get to, this guy just drops the loudest fart I have ever heard. Like comedic timing.
Nose
at a
fart,
10.
dude.
Nosfaratu.
Nose farting.
Nosotros fart. It was crazy, and the whole theater laughs. It was like a very serious moment. The whole theater laughs, and then all culminates with this guy falling back asleep, and then you can't tell because it's loud at the end, but then right when it cuts to the credits and it's silent, not even the credits actually, the scene where he's laying on top, we'll get to also, just a snore, and the whole theater is laughing, and this guy was like the worst moviegoer, but also so funny.
Dude, every time you guys go see movies, it's like an SNL skit or something.
Yeah.
There's always like a guy in the theater farting or like yelling out, being like, oh shit. Or something. I go to theaters, it's me and it's always one or maybe 2 other people.
Are you in Clifton? Or where are you?
Yeah, well, you're going at like 2 p.m. on a Wednesday.
6 p.m.
Yeah.
6 p.m. I went yesterday at 6 p.m. to Wayne AMC. You would never even know there was a you wouldn't even know there was a movie theater there. It's behind like abandoned Blockbusters, and it was me and a couple. And I gotta be honest, dude, I love it when there's no one in the theater. It's way more
you hate
enjoyable.
people.
You like,
Wait,
I hate people when I'm watching a movie. Yeah, like when I'm
It's by-
far away when I'm when I'm not watching.
It's by a
Nosferatu.
Blockbuster.
It's behind like an abandoned building by the
mall.
Do you think, like,
Willowbrook Mall. Yeah.
20 years ago, after the movie, they just like sit on, and then they just be like, here, now it
Yeah, they
belongs to
say, oh, we can't sell this. Put it in your theaters, please.
They have, like,
Yeah,
a
that
little
pipeline from
arrangement.
Blockbuster to the theater was
Yeah.
very important.
It's classic business. They make the movie, they bring it to Blockbuster first. It's
called an assembly line.
No one's renting it, and they go, We gotta get this movie rented.
Wait,
Call up the movie theater next door. We should show it there. Oh my god.
Have you guys seen this clip that's online of a movie theater? It sounds very Hudson Mall, Jersey City reference, but like some shitty movie theater. They can't get the movie to play, so you just see on the huge screen someone's mouse, and they're just logging into Prime Video, Amazon Prime Video, and they're like going very slowly because they're like screen mirroring on a huge theater at like an AMC, and they finally get to the movie. They finally click play. Everybody goes yeah, and it starts loading, and then it goes maximum number of streamers reached, and then it can't play. That's the future. That's the future Trump wants.
Hey,
us
what
to
about you,
live.
Dubs? When did you see it?
Have you seen the? This is back to Abbie. Have you seen the clip of the guy perfectly timing and executing his fart at the Oppenheimer?
Yes,
Yeah.
unbelievable.
It's good.
Me and my parents 2 nights ago they came over and we watched in the screening room. I will say
Wait, it's streamable?
Yeah. Where was it?
I have
You illegally streamed it?
something called Plex where I share a library with an.
Plexing on us.
What's that
I
sound?
share a library
Dude, it's the cops.
with an unnamed individual who does torrent stuff. It's a media sharing like app.
I love how you're like, I mean, it's not me though. I'm just sharing the library with him. And yeah, there's child
I'm
porn
just
on it, but who
watching
cares?
it. I should actually.
No, that's cool.
But so I love you, Mom. But there's this exercise we go through every time that we are setting up a TV where she doesn't know her password to anything, but insists it's the same for everything.
Yeah, it's like mom. It's
Yeah,
every
yeah.
mom ever.
So
Why are you using your mom's login in your screening room?
It's a Samsung TV, and in order to install Plex on the TV, you needed your Samsung login.
Yeah.
Anyway, so that was contentious, but
What were
then
her passwords? Do you want to read them out?
Wubbies.
they have my name in it, so mommy, I love you. But don't figure it out, listeners.
Let's get into this freaking dumbass.
Yeah.
Movie, dude.
All right, let's
Jesus Christ.
All right, there's black and white and gray.
Red all over.
Yeah.
And a lot of sucking, if you guys mind drift.
Yeah.
Oh.
Well, yes.
sucked?
So the way we do kick things off typically is we go around and each one of us gives our own synopsis. In one sentence only. We each have our own kind of personal flavor, and then after that we'll give the official synopsis, which is hopefully short, just to give some contrast, see how we stack up. Who wants to go first?
I'll pop off. How do you pronounce this guy's last name? Is it Hooter or Hutter?
Nosferatu.
Oh, dude. All right, now we can actually fight. Thank you.
Two. Just,
All right, whatever. It doesn't matter what his last
two.
name was because it don't matter. All right, here it goes. Thomas Hutter, a determined real estate agent, sets out to a Transylvanian castle in order to close a deal with the mysterious Count Orlok, and in the process unleashes a monster with an unquenchable thirst for his wife's blood. And what?
there's more?
That's it.
That was
That was
excellent.
tight.
Yeah, that was
concise.
perfect.
Can
Yeah.
you read it one more time?
I thought there was going to be too much.
Thomas Hutter, a determined real estate agent, sets out to a Transylvanian castle in order to close a deal with the mysterious Count Orlok, and in the process unleashes a monster with an unquenchable thirst for his wife's blood.
Cool.
I just want everybody to know that Brendan has his font sent to the same size that my trifocal father does. My LASIK
Your mom types her
trifocal-
passwords in. Yeah.
Okay, all right.
It's like a
Yo.
15, 16.
All right, don't be talking about mommy.
header.
I can do it.
I love your mom, dude. I love her.
All right, not too much. All right, I'll go next. Really tall vampire who rolls his R's better than Carlos Correa is willing to bring death to anything and everything unless he gets to bang Johnny Depp's daughter one more time.
Ooh, break the fourth wall with that. Is that actually Johnny Depp's daughter?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Lily Rose
Lily
Depp.
Rose Depp.
Yo, how do you? It should have been called Nepotizarat.
I thought she was
she was
great.
great.
Wait, who's Carlos Correa?
Nepferatu. It was.
You need to bring in a
Yeah.
Houston Astros
I just. It was
player
the
to that.
first name I could think of that had 2 R's. Next,
Nice.
Correa. Yeah, well,
This
you know,
movie was actually
he's
the
also
Tino
on the
Martinez
Twins.
of horror.
Yo, don't no. Tino Martinez is the man. Carlos Correa. He plays for the Twins now, I think. Whatever.
We get it. You like sports, dude.
I just
All
wanted to say
We're
Correa.
talking vampires here.
Yeah.
Can we talk about the R's though?
Dude, Orlok was big, bro. He could post up, be a strong power forward.
He was big in
Yeah.
a couple ways.
Hey,
dude. Yeah.
well, that's
Whoa.
okay. So mine was just Dracula, but louder, and this time he hangs dong.
He does hang some dong. All right, that's pretty good, guys. And I'm very excited to say that the official synopsis from Rotten Tomatoes is equally short and sweet. I think it's one sentence only. Robert Eggers' Nosferatu is a gothic tale of obsession between a haunted young woman and the terrifying vampire infatuated with her, causing untold horror in its wake.
I mean, yeah, the story's been around for 200 fucking years. I think we don't need too much summarizing.
I want to know, actually, like, I actually have never seen any
Versions of this?
iteration or like even Dracula. Like, I haven't seen Bram Stoker's Dracula. I haven't seen.
It's a book, right?
Yeah, it starts.
Yeah,
Bram
yeah.
Stoker is
And
the
then-
author,
Yeah.
and he wrote the book. And then there's the movie,
which
Bram
I-
Stoker's Dracula,
Which is Francis Ford
which is Francis Ford
Coppola.
But that
and
came after,
starring-
way after Nosferatu,
Right.
the original,
So-
which
so
is
wait,
1922.
1922.
Right. So yeah, 19. So I'll give my little backstory on it, and I'll cue up the editor to put some sad music on this. This past year, seen this girl, and we got into Draculas, and we watched all of them.
Oh wow!
And then right before Nosferatu came out, she broke up with me. So
Damn, she
miss you,
sucked
Rachel.
the life out of you too, dude. God damn. I'm sorry.
But this is the most up to date I've ever been on anything we've ever watched. So I watched the original Nosferatu, 1922, fucking silent film, unbelievable, crazy.
Yeah, I thought that was a weird choice to make that film silent.
to make.
I actually just watched that today.
You did?
Yeah.
Dude, it's really,
Wait,
it's like-
really?
Yeah.
to be a silent movie and one of the first movies ever and actually still be a little scary.
I
it's
heard
pretty
it's-
amazing.
Yeah.
So it holds
really
up
good.
in like the whatever capacity.
For the
Like,
1920,
most it could
1922s, it was
Yeah.
popping. That
Yeah,
shit
it's
was.
popping.
That shit was like. It was like Blair Witch Project.
Blair Witch Project of the pre-World War One.
And so Nosferatu essentially was like an egregious ripoff of Bram Stoker's novel, Dracula.
Rip
And-
off like it wasn't
Yeah, like complete.
supposed to be. No, but I mean, I thought it was just a retelling of it.
No, well, this is the thing. So Bram Stoker's estate actually sued Nosferatu, the movie, and got the Nosferatu completely canceled. Like it, yeah, completely canceled. All production
Wait,
of
I
it,
heard
all,
about this.
all
Didn't
copies.
they try to like get the physical
Yeah,
copies,
so all
but someone had kept one.
All physical copies were destroyed, except for the movie was so popular that it had been distributed by fans throughout like Europe. So it was impossible to destroy the movie. So
Folks, just to remind you, as our authoritarian government takes all of our stuff, fucking bootleg everything you can,
bootleg everything.
toss it in the back seat.
But
we're gonna
imagine,
need it.
but imagine how hard it is, like because now it's digital, right?
Yeah.
So like the restoration, to restore this movie was so hard because they had to gather like hundreds of copies,
Yeah.
like due to like weather or something, or literally due to on the film itself, they had to clip a bunch of things together.
They didn't funnel it into the Blockbuster?
They funneled it in the Blockbuster, and then it was in AMC like 2 days later. But yeah, so all prints and negatives were destroyed under the terms of the settlement of the lawsuit
Little
by Bram
fuckers. It's like one of
Stoker's
the
widow.
first movies ever made, and it's so good. And they're like, yeah, but you didn't pay us enough. Let's destroy it so no one can ever see it.
Yeah.
So, quote, an unauthorized adaptation of Bram Stoker's
Right.
Dude, wow,
Dracula.
I didn't know that. It's
I-
such a
I
classic.
didn't know that either.
I mean, it outlives. It's part of the reason that Dracula is so important in culture. Granted, the movie's been made a billion times.
Right, but I mean, if you basically look at the synopsis of Dracula, like Bram Stoker's Dracula, it's essentially like the same. I mean, it's a guy that goes to we'll get into the plot and stuff, but but it's essentially
This
the
is
same.
a very direct retelling. I was going to say. So,
Yeah.
wait, you have more on Nosferatu?
Yeah, just real quick. So it's also considered the first cult film, Nosferatu. I mean, because of this backstory with
And the
with
following,
with
yeah,
the
people
lawsuit
bootlegging
and
it
people
and-
bootlegging
yeah.
it and
Very culty.
stuff like that.
So that's Nosferatu. So that's the first one. Then I followed that up with the first Dracula, which is 1931, I believe, and that's the famous Bela Lugosi one. So that's the one where he's like, "I want to suck your blood," and that was a great movie too. It was really good. I was really surprised. Like again, these
Stop
movies
pretending to
are-
like old
no,
shit.
No, it was good. But they're both like confusing. Silent movie, it's easy to be confusing.
Right.
But like Dracula 2, it was just like, and I had just watched it, and they're very direct stories, like very
Just
similar.
fucking talk.
And I was just like,
Yeah.
this one they are talking, and the acting's great, but it's still like. I'm still like, what is this? I'm a little confused about this. So, but it's helpful to keep watching them because then you're like, oh, if I hear the story 12 times, I
Yeah.
start getting it. So then that was the 1931. That's when it got really, really famous to my understanding. Like not
Yeah.
cult. Like now it's the biggest story ever. The book's from the 1800s.
1897.
1897. And then I don't know if you have any facts up until then. So then there's tons of them made, some good, some bad. There's a silly Steve Martin one that's like a parody of Dracula.
Yeah.
There's so many of them. And then the next one I watched was Bram Stoker's Dracula. That's the name of the movie, which is also
Right,
the
yeah,
book.
I saw a trailer of
and
that.
that's the Francis Ford Coppola
Yeah,
one.
yeah.
And that
And
one has Keanu
Gar-
Reeves playing Cucking McCuckington in this.
The
Hutter.
Yeah.
Thomas Hutter. So,
Nicholas Holt.
yes. So and that one is. I thought that this one did a really interesting job of taking from everything because it's like a very direct retelling of Nosferatu, the original. It brings like the sexiness of Bram Stoker's is like super sexy,
sexual,
Erotic.
Like it's
well, this was pretty erotic.
no, this exactly no, this was in that same
but
vein.
like the original Nosferatu doesn't have any of
no,
that.
not at
obviously.
all.
Yeah,
no,
yeah,
he's just
Wait,
he's a little
the
creep. He's
1922
I don't know how
22
popular
joint
like
was it?
sex scenes are in like silent movies.
Well, but
that sounds pretty hot.
Actually, I would be curious about this. Like pornography existed,
Of course.
but like, could you imagine watching? And it's just like moans.
right,
Yeah,
well,
right,
I like
right.
to be the guy that holds up the card that's
Yeah,
like
yeah.
bed squeaking.
Daddy.
Yeah. To that point, I will like. There were things, and this is going to sound pretentious, but the silent movie, the 1922 version, I enjoyed the pacing of it, almost more than I did this
It was
movie.
shorter.
Like
It was
obviously,
really tight.
Yeah, but anyway, you were
No,
talking
it was
about-
really tight. I think that's a good
tighter
point.
And
Bram Stoker, though, Gary Oldman is my favorite
Yes.
actor.
And Gary Oldman's Dracula.
Yeah, and I think that favorite, and I also think best in terms of pure range.
We agree on this. I think he's top 3 living actors in the whole world.
And the guys that get the credit, like like the De Niro's and Pacinos and that, like they're great, but they
More
they
one
don't
trick.
also play characters. Gary Oldman is the leading man or the most insanely specific, brand new.
Gary Oldman
caricature.
Gary Oldman is so good that if you tell someone that's not a huge movie head about Gary Oldman, they're like, "Who's that?" And then you name 12 different characters, and they're like, "Not only do I love that guy, I didn't know that was played by the same actor." Like,
or you could watch any one of his. If you watch like Leon the Professional, you would think he was this shitty American dude, but then you could watch like Slow Horses, and he's like a filthy.
or like he plays Fat Winston Churchill. Like,
Yeah.
Or Officer Gordon. It's crazy.
we should talk about this movie.
All right, wait. So the last thing, Bram Stoker's. It's Keanu playing Hutter, and it's Oldman. And then their Van Helsing, like their doctor guy, is Anthony Hopkins.
Wait,
in
hold
that
on.
movie.
How could anyone possibly cuck Keanu Reeves though?
I mean, Nicholas Hutter, whatever his name is, Thomas Hutter. He was not a.
Well, I guess
I'm
if
mixing up the
anybody could
names.
do it,
Wait,
to Gary Oldman.
I'm saying it's Nicholas Holt and something Hutter is the character's name.
Nicholas Holt is the
actor.
realtor.
Right. So I'm saying that's the Keanu Reeves. I always think like this story is
That's
such an
whose
interesting
wife.
story because it's like at first you think that's the protagonist and you realize he's really a side character in a way, even though he's like the leading of the plot. But okay, let's go on.
All right. So before we actually get into the nuts and bolts of the film,
Heyo.
part of the reason we do this show for you guys is so that the regular person off the street can understand exactly how scary the movie is. And the way we're able to provide that service for you is through the vessel of Abbie Krinsky-Rogoff, the resident baby of Two Men and a Baby. He's scared of horror movies, so therefore he can provide valid feedback in terms of how scary it was and let you know. So this segment we call Baby in the Corner, and Abbie's going to give his analysis simply of the fear factor and provide a rating on the Binkymeter out of 10.
Yeah, I think that this movie was so. We'll talk about a lot of things about this director who's so good, who has made Lighthouse, which I think is one of the best movies I can think of that was creepy. The Witch, was super scary to me. I thought that this movie was not as scary as The Witch. That's for sure.
No.
I thought that it was not that super scary, but I think that it's about as good as you can do with a Dracula story. I think that a thing is, like, again, it's a story from the 1800s, and he did a real true telling of it, like Brendan said, like very close to exact scene by scene of the 1922 Nosferatu movie, the silent one. And so it's like, one of the things I always think is the scariest thing you can do in a horror movie is not really show us much about the killer. Like, we've talked about this a lot on Two Men and a Baby. It's like, the less I know, the more I can make up my nightmare creature. You can't do that with Dracula. He's Dracula. He says, I want to suck your blood. He has to have an accent. He has to talk. So I think that the movie started off really scary to me. And then once we heard from Skarsgård playing Dracula, I think he did a great job. Like, I don't think it took me out of it the way that I was worried it might, but it just wasn't that scary. I wasn't like, there's a few scenes that still creep me out afterwards for sure. And I thought it was really well done. Scary music, good shots, like just a gorgeous, gorgeous movie. But in terms of fear, I think it was as scary as it could be for a Dracula story. But if you're retelling it to the truth, I think you could tell a version where you barely show Dracula until later, and he's this huge figure that kills you, and it's more gory and like as a retelling. I don't think that he wanted to do that.
I also don't think Eggers was necessarily trying to scare us the same way he was with the witch.
And I think as we get to ratings, I think some people didn't like that. I think some people complained because they were like, "That wasn't scary," and it's like, yeah, it's an old ass movie that's being retold in a modern way. But
it was
it's still
like a morbid gothic love story. Is what it is,
which is what the original text is.
Yeah.
So with that, I'm gonna say 6.8.
6.8 on the Binkymeter.
On the Binkymeter.
All right. Now, those nuts and bolts I was talking about before, we're going to talk about them because we're going to...
Walking down the spoiler room.
Oh, I fell into the spoiler room.
I'm going to step on a nail. That's a reference to that movie. What movie is that? Quiet Place.
There's a lot of nails in. It could have been Home Alone, dog. All right. So the spoiler room. We open up the floor and we kind of just everything's fair game now. We can talk about the movie in any capacity. So we're gonna run through the plot just for the people who do not plan on seeing the movie but want to know what happens in it. Essentially, there is a newlywed couple. Nicholas Hoult is a realtor who is promised basically a promotion and all this.
Wait. I let me try to take it. You tell me if I'm missing anything.
We could do like a guilty conscience Eminem and Dr. Dre situation.
Yeah, Beastie Boys sitch. He's pretty much told by his boss, like, hey, I got a great offer to sell this guy a house that's here in London or wherever they are. But
Wisburg, Germany.
Right, they're in Germany. He's like, but here's the catch. You got to go make the negotiation with this dude at his weird old castle in fucking Transylvania. And as everyone has joked about, and they sort of say it in the movie too, it's like, why do I have to go there if he wants to buy this house here? Like,
he's old. They say.
Yeah, they're like, he's old.
He's not mobile.
Right, which is fair. Like, I do that for work.
Also, in that scene, they use the word sylph. Eggers, I get it, man.
Son,
You're
I'd
smart.
like to fuck?
Stop using words I don't know, dude. What's a sylph?
The Sylph Road?
I thought Dracula's a Vilf, dude.
Oh, shit.
Oh, Sylph. S-U-L-P-H?
Actually, he'd be
S-I-L-P-H?
a Vilf.
That's what I said.
Oh, okay. That's filthy.
All right, let's rewind.
Filthy conscience. So then Holt goes. He goes, and it's super creepy. He stops on his way. He stops into this town, and this is an interesting differentiation between this one and the other movies.
Gypsies?
The Gypsies were in the other ones. They're very friendly, and he they really help him. And then all of a sudden, they're like, "Do not go there." Do not go there, which happens in this one. But in this one, they do a weird dance. It's super creepy. Then he's like sleeping and then has that weird like virgin sacrifice scene, which that's not in any of the other movies.
They didn't kill the
I don't think
woman, did they?
They did, but it was,
Well,
you
they
don't know
also,
if it was
like,
a dream or
killed
real.
a vampire.
Right. They were killing a vampire.
They dug up a vampire, and they
And
staked through his heart.
it was real because they showed the mud on his boots.
Right, you're right.
Yeah.
So it was real,
yeah.
but we didn't really know what that meant. Is that
Or we
another
think it's
vampire?
real, or maybe he was sleepwalking because there was like Ellen's character. I mean, Ellen sleepwalks. So maybe that's because there is a lot of suggestion that he haunts your dreams and makes you sleepwalk. So we
Yeah.
don't
The
really
first
know.
half or 2/3 of the movie, there was a lot of this dream. Did this happen?
Right,
What's
right.
real?
A lot of
Yeah.
that, exactly. So he leaves the Gypsies finally. They're like, don't go over there. He goes, and he's also in the other ones. He's taken in a carriage, often by the famous Renfield, which they had the spin-off with Nicolas Cage movie. But Renfield's like sort of does one of the many things that does Dracula's bidding. But in this
You
one,
know who was Renfield? Nicholas Hoult in Renfield.
really?
Yeah, he played.
Okay, this man's just Dracula-ing everywhere. He's cucking in every Dracula movie. But then this one, he's picked up by an empty carriage, and that's like a really cool, crazy, creepy scene. Like he's
way
going
that
through the
was shot.
forest.
Yeah, it was
oh
beautiful.
my god, it was crazy. So he's pretty much brought by an empty carriage to Dracula's mansion. We don't know it's Dracula, it's Count Orlok, and he goes in, and the guy's really creepy, and the guy's like, "Oh, what's up?" And he's not really answering his questions, and he's like, "You got to sleep here," and he's creepy, and he has an accent, and then he's like, "Sign this paper." And he'll give you gold if you sign the paper. And we're all watching and we're like, don't sign the paper, bro. Read the paper first. Don't just sign the paper. Signs the paper. Sure enough, we find out later that
Holt
was bad.
was also being a total pussball.
Yeah, he
the
was.
whole
He
time.
was. He was cut
just,
the whole way through.
He cuts his finger on cutting bread,
And then Orlok gets pumped.
Nosferatu is basically salivating. He
Yeah, he
goes,
pops
"Hold
a
on,
little 6
relax,
o'clock."
dude. Let me just suck that blood out real quick." And then he wakes up and he's got bite marks on his chest.
Right.
Hutter.
There's-
And then he was like, "I'm feeling kind of sick, but I really got to go." He signs it, and then Orlok's like, "Nah, you should stay. You should never travel sick." He's like, "Well, but like I definitely should." And he's like, "Nah, I'm gonna go sleep. I sleep during the day, and because
totally normal
that's
stuff.
totally fine. Don't worry about it. So I'm gonna go downstairs into the very, very dark, deep basement into a coffin and go to sleep.
Yeah. Now don't you leave though, buddy.
But don't you leave. Definitely don't leave." And so Hutter, he goes down into the deep, dark basement. He sees him. He's like, well, "Dude, this guy's definitely there's something up with him." He opens up the coffin and attempts to drive a metal axe or a pickaxe, through the heart of Orlok. Orlok wakes up and then basically sicks his hellhounds on him.
Oh, you're missing the most important detail here.
Okay.
Oh, this is when he hangs on.
Yeah, he
pops out with that thing
catches
slanging.
the pickaxe and he rises like dick first. Like that.
He's naked. I mean,
and
he's
then
nude.
his
He's
dong
he's
is just
Uncut
there.
gems.
And that's also the first time you really get a good look of him up close and not in the shadows. And he's very grotesque. He's packing. Oh, also, there's very important detail that's missing to set, which is that the opening scene is Lily Rose Depp getting phantom fucked by Orlok, and then it cuts to several years later.
I was sort of like resettling my popcorn at that moment, and then I looked back and I was like, I really missed a really important
the
scene.
opening
That was
scene
the
to me
only
got
scary
me,
part.
Yeah, I don't know why we didn't start with that. You were telling the synopsis. You literally started
shit,
it. So I don't know what you're
well,
talking
this
about.
one doesn't start.
But yeah, the opening of the movie was the best part, in my opinion. She's like praying to some god or any god that will answer to her, any entity that will answer to her because she's depressed and lonely, or whatever. And the demon that answers her prayer or whatever is Nosferatu.
How young is she? How much younger is she supposed to be?
I don't
than
know, but I don't know, like 16, 17, I don't know, something creepily
Yeah.
young. And basically they engage in some sort of
Is he
vampire
there?
sex.
Are they like hooking up? You see them? hooking up?
You see a scene where you don't see him there, you just hear his voice.
Okay.
And he's speaking this like archaic, this dead language,
Yeah.
or whatever, through her telepathically, and she all of a sudden starts convulsing.
Okay.
And then you see him kind of
Okay.
materialize over her, and then he starts sucking the blood out of her.
Also, she's like moaning.
She's like moaning. There's like
Right,
this,
right.
and that's where like the sexual themes come in and stuff.
Okay,
So they're
cool.
from that point on, they're now physically connected.
Right, connected. And then we get back to where we find that out how that connects later. So he hops out, he hangs dong, he chases him. He chases him, and
Does he escape before Nosferatu packs himself up in a box on the ship?
yes,
It's
yeah,
sort
yeah,
of-
yeah.
it's-
Okay, so Hutter.
well, he doesn't escape. We don't know his fate yet. It looks like he dies.
Yeah, he doesn't get thrown out the thing.
Well, he gets on a horse.
The wolves chase him out the window, and then he falls down a cliff into
Yes,
water.
right. He falls down
We-
a cliff, but yeah.
We
Then a
think-
Romanian nun finds him by the water's
Right.
edge, brings him to a hospital somewhere in Romania.
Yeah.
And he's like, I got to get home to my wife because Nosferatu is jonesing.
Right,
to-
for my wife.
to-
Because he smelled her hair. He gave her,
Yeah,
he gave
the
her a
locket.
piece of
The
her
locket.
hair.
He sees the locket, and he's
Yeah.
like, "Wow, your wife. I know this lady from way back when."
Right.
I'm
And
gonna
the-
put myself in a box and go on a
Exactly.
ship
And
and,
the
ship my
Romanians-
body on a gypsy ship to
While-
Weisberg, Germany.
While all of this is happening, also Lily Rose Depp, they are kind of juxtaposing his journey with her at home, getting increasingly more.
Yeah, she's being haunted.
Yeah,
Sleepwalking,
But, so
she's
what's
having
important
nightmares.
is that Nicholas Hoult and their marriage broke the connection between her and Orlok. Orlok can now only get her back if she willingly, renounces
Right.
the marriage. Is that the right word?
And and I guess is the idea sort of that he just really likes her, like because that's what you never really understand. It's like,
Well,
why
he
her?
summoned
Yeah.
her.
But it was like, of all the people, he's just obsessed with her specifically.
The actual
So-
line from the original Nosferatu and the line that Defoe's character says is, "There is no salvation except that a woman should cause the vampire to forget the first cock crow of her own free will."
First cock's
will
crow.
No,
I wrote that down.
when
too.
I was gonna say this, I was like, "All right, cock joke coming in 3, 2, 1." So basically,
So he sneaks onto the boat. On the way, the boat is going to Germany. On the way, he kills everybody on the ship slowly.
He brings rats
They think
with
it's
him,
The plague. Yeah,
and-
he loves his little rats.
and those bring the plague as well.
Right, and then they land on the shore, and then he starts haunting all of Germany, and everyone's dying, and they think it's the plague. But Willem Dafoe's like, bro, this ain't the regular plague. This is a vampy. And
This
then
is vampy
everyone's like,
plague.
that ain't vampy. And he's like, it's a vampy. And then I think that's enough.
And then-
There's a movie about the journey
Yes,
of
yeah.
So it's like the last sail of the
Demeter.
Demeter. Yeah,
the name of the ship.
yeah. But I think it's important that
In America, we call it DeMille.
Willem Dafoe is introduced as the vampire expert and basically creates a fake plan, knowing that the only way is for her to save everybody, that they're going to go find him and stab him through the chest, basically just to get everybody away from her so that she can summon him, say, I'm okay, let's do this, and they can fuck, which they do, and it's gnarly. And
You're
then,
now at the end.
Huh?
You're at the end.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then they both die.
She sacrifices herself.
Yes.
She's pretty much like, I'm going to fuck him so hard that he'll forget that he can't be in the daylight. And then he burns to death.
So Defoe's character, who is basically Van Helsing, an adaptation of Van Helsing from the original Bram Stoker's Dracula, he goes, she needs to cause the vampire to forget the first cockcrow, forget that the sun is rising, basically. Of her own free will,
that's what that meant?
she should give her blood. So she's basically giving herself this third night to make him at a time where while he's kind of sucking her blood away, the sun rises and he forgets to go back in his coffin.
And it's so good too, because I love, like, again, she's the protagonist, really, like she's the main character, and I love that in the the Nicholas Hoult character, they're just like, they let him like think he's doing something to help at the end. He's like, all right, we're going to go in there. We're going to break it down. We're going to break down the doors. We're going to kill him in his coffin. Everyone's like, yeah, dude, you got it. You're totally going to do that. And that's all just to distract him away so his wife can sacrifice herself for the greater good. And I think that ending, by the way, I thought was a nice bow. And I think that a lot of people didn't get it.
I didn't realize that he was
to people.
tricking. That she timed it intentionally. I thought that he
Willem
just
Dafoe was in on it too.
Well, no,
No,
I know
you're
that Willem
saying,
Dafoe. I didn't realize that she. I thought he
was
just
tricking
didn't care anymore. He got what he wanted.
Well, Willem
so.
Dafoe and her talk about it is like, you have to
No,
plan
no,
it. I'm
I-
going to make your husband believe that
No,
we're going
I-
to go kill this vampire, but let's stick to this plan. And she's like, totally, let's do this plan. So she was planning something.
Yes, I know that the plan was to give herself up for him. I just didn't realize
the literal
I thought
plan.
I thought he was basically willingly dying, and that was the execution of the
She-
pillar.
Because he looks up at the sun
Yeah.
and you're like,
Yeah.
he's like, damn son. Damn son. Literally.
There's a really great line when she's confronting him. She yells to Orlok, "You cannot love," and his response is, "Love is inferior to you. I am an appetite, nothing more. I cannot love, but I cannot be sated without you." So he literally cares about nothing
Bars.
else. Yeah, dude.
For real.
He cares about nothing else more than banging this. He's like,
But it's not- yeah, is
he
it- I mean,
cannot be
yeah.
satisfied in his life in any capacity without
Yeah.
banging her.
Right.
Oh, and also he kills two little girls very violently.
Yeah, violently. It's fucked up. And one thing I thought was interesting about the plot of it is it all checked out, and I liked it. And again, these all the old ones, maybe they told the same story because I don't read, so I've never read the book. But it felt like this one just made more sense. Like other ones just sort of left things hanging more. This one sort of wrapped it up nicely, which is cool. But one of the things that was weird to me that commenting watching it is just like, he's like, you need to, like, the marriage broke it up, so now you need to, like, accept me willingly. And by willingly, I mean I'm gonna murder everybody in the world
If you don't,
say yes. It's like, that's not really willingly. Like, if you're, that's like very, like, that reminded me very much of like the Hasidic logic of being like God doesn't want me to use the elevator, so instead I'll set the elevator to automatically hit every floor. It's just like, what is God, stupid? Like, what?
Yeah.
I don't get this. That felt a little bit weird. It worked for the plot, but you know what I mean? Like,
It was nice, in my opinion, to have an Eggers movie that was linear and easy to understand. Now, I obviously the other ones are intentionally abstract, and you know, there's merit there. But I was worried that it was going to be another one of these, like, I have to Google the ending, kind of like interpretations and see what he said about it. You're right. It made sense. It was easy to follow for the most part.
You could tell he was super pumped to make this movie.
Yeah,
Like, he was like,
clearly a big
he was
fan.
salivating. You know, he's like, oh my God, I'm going to make Nosferatu.
he was probably
like,
doing the breathing that Nosferatu was doing the whole time. Just
like literally, this dude was in like a play in high school, Nosferatu play, and I think
really?
this is like
Eggers?
I think this is like his favorite movie. After The Witch, like immediately after, he's like, Nosferatu's gonna be my next movie. He was writing novellas. He was like researching every single day about vampires and
novella verate.
yeah, and that all the research involved with it. It just felt like to me this movie was he was biting off a little more than he not that more than he could chew, but I felt like he was so excited about it that it felt like he borrowed from every like source material to the point where it felt almost like a little convoluted, I guess, or it just like because it's not Nosferatu. Like he adds elements from Bram Stoker's Dracula in it, and
Which
he also adds his
Nosferatu
own.
did, though.
He adds a bunch of his own things. Like he fleshes out Ellen's character a lot. Like he even said, I want to make Ellen's character like a huge part of this movie. And in Nosferatu, she's like a very minor part. So it felt like it was needlessly kind of too long. I felt like a lot of parts could be cut. Like the rich couples, a lot of their scenes I felt like were not very important to the plot. I don't know.
that's fair.
I felt like it was like it's like a form versus content conversation where it's so beautifully shot, like the lighting, the set design, the costumes. His just unique style really like shone through, but I felt like if you just boiled the movie down to the story itself, it felt kind of drawn out a little bit.
It's an over 100-year-old story that's been told over 100 times, so it's fair to say.
But again,
it's
like the
not as
1922
original.
version to me felt like the pacing was way better, and like
It felt like a series of beautiful moments, iconic moments, really memorable moments that moved along to tell the story without necessarily a quick, natural flow about it.
No,
I
that's fair.
agree. It could have been 25 minutes shorter.
Yeah, same.
But that's kind of what we think about every movie.
No, but then some are tight. We found some tight
yeah,
ones.
that's true.
One more thing I just want to say, question. Did in any of the other ones that, if you guys have seen any other, did they bite in the chest? When did it become neck to chest?
So that leads right into a flesh fact. So the whole chest biting is actually comes from a folklore tradition about like vampires. So Eastern European folklore, Romanian folklore, vampires were said to bite their victims at the heart. Also in Eastern Europe, vampires were said to kill their victims by pressing on their chest, which eventually became biting. So he wanted to be true to like the Romanian folklore tradition of vampires.
Interesting.
As opposed to like the Nosferatu.
So when
Bram Stoker.
do you know where the neck came from?
Well, I think Bram Stoker talks about.
Oh, in the book.
He talks. Yeah, he's like the first, I think, to bring up the neck.
That's
the neck
interesting.
biting. Yeah.
Okay, fair. Okay.
I just wanted to talk about the way it was shot and made that I thought were really interesting. So for most of the beginning of the movie, Nicholas Hoult, who spends the most time on camera for the first half of the movie, he is constantly framed in the perfect center of the shot, where it's things like archways, doors,
Like
the
symmetry.
carriage. Yeah, it's very, very symmetrical, and he's always entering spaces and being shot exactly in the middle. And the first time that I noticed, because I was waiting for it to deviate, the first time that he moves to the left is when Orlok appears on the right. And I thought that was really cool. Obviously, like the color palette going from what was like indistinguishably black and white to every so often really kind of vibrant but dulled colors, if that makes sense. I don't know. That scene that you mentioned where the carriage picks him up, it's literally a crossroads. But as they zoom out, it looks like a crucifix.
Yeah.
And, there is all this, like, they didn't really get into it, but Christianity and lore is usually...
Also, like Robert Johnson, the devil, met the devil at a crossroads. Yeah.
Eric Clapton stole it and made it whiter. To your point, though, they do talk about it a little bit. The only person, if I understand correctly, that was bitten but was able to recover was Holt, because the Romanian woman, the nun, brought him in, and they performed like that. Exorcist, like that worked. That was the only thing that worked. And obviously, there's the big theme that is like trauma. Like most good horror. She is essentially a kid at the very beginning that is so sad or depressed, whatever, probably because of things that have happened to her, that she lets in some harm.
Taken advantage by this pariah.
Taken advantage by a pariah, like a male.
She indulges in the most evil savior possible,
Right.
which is what a lot of us do. And
Right.
Well, I don't think she indulges so much as she's taken advantage by
Right, she's
her
open.
but she
loneliness
opens
herself
and
up
her.
to it.
But that's how these things
Right.
happen. That's how bad things. Like she opened the door, like coping
And that's
with
not
drugs
blaming the
or
victim.
alcohol.
Yeah.
It's like
Yeah.
she. It was just an unfortunate
Yeah,
like,
once you let
She was
the,
susceptible.
Yeah, she was susceptible, exactly.
once you let the vice or evil in for pleasure,
Right.
it's
hard
gonna
to get
you
rid of.
can't beat it.
I mean, you
can't beat it.
can, but you sometimes have to sacrifice yourself.
Yeah,
or,
you die. Also, I don't like the love between her and Holt was like kind of they were like accept this.
So that was my biggest problem with the movie. Is honestly like you're just supposed to believe that their love is so big that it broke Orlok's spell on her for a little bit. You're just supposed to believe like every line they say is about how in love they are, and they just didn't really. And this is true in all of them. To be fair, this is not just, the original Nosferatu, but they just like don't. I just didn't see any scenes with them where I'm just like, oh, I
Chemistry?
like really see the chemistry and the love between them.
Yeah.
So that was one of my problems. But again, what am I asking him to make the movie longer? Not really. So it's like I don't know how
there
you
was
solve that.
one moment where she's kind of talking about what effect the Orlok had on him, and to like prove he like bangs her to like make a point, and she gets really turned on by like the fact. Do you remember the sex scene between
That he's watching.
Holt?
Nosferatu is like she's like let him watch. She says, and he's doing it. He's
the boy
he's
watch.
doing it like because he can like telepathically see
Right.
what she's doing. So
Holt does kind of get to cuck
it's his wife.
Nosferatu.
Yeah.
Yeah, but well,
Yeah.
that's sort of.
But yeah, I wish there was just like one scene earlier on that was just a cute little
Yeah.
scene between them. That's like, oh, they like each other and they're like a normal couple. I
Yeah.
just didn't quite get that.
But
But
I do like the idea that it's her journey of like coming to terms with this past like evil that has kind of informed her decisions in her entire life up to that point, and she confronts it in the end. To me, Holt really isn't the main character in this movie at all.
No,
it's
no,
her.
no, it's her. Yeah, I think that the inconsistencies in, I don't want to say the quality of acting, but how much I like the acting. Like Lily was phenomenal.
Yeah, she's great.
so good. Down to that scene where she's doing the Hulkamania, ripping her shirt open, and it's like that is like we've talked about it before, like a scene that is every ounce of the comedic bone in me wants to laugh and say that's cringy, but it's good, and she's so good that it wasn't.
Yeah.
It was great.
I wrote down seizure monologue.
Yeah.
she's and then but
It's
she's talking the whole
wild.
time.
Yeah.
So she's incredible. Willem Dafoe. My dad turns and he goes, you can tell he was having fun doing this.
Yeah,
he was. It almost reminded me of Jack Nicholson in The Departed, where he's almost just flexing his acting skills.
Yeah.
He was great. He was a blast.
I saw a meme about Lily Rose Depp that was just like everyone's complaining that she had too much iPhone face to play like before this because she was like an online girly like to play, and then it's like little did we know she was the most believable 1830s goth bitch we've ever met.
Yeah, she's great. She's great.
Then Holt he was good in the sense that
Is Holt the actor's name?
Nicholas
Yeah.
Holt.
Okay, you keep calling that. Okay.
Nicholas Holt was he was successful in doing what he was supposed to do, which is kind of making you, like
I mean, dude, watch the Bram Stoker one. It is crazy. Like he nails it. Keanu, it's the same thing. You're just like, this is Keanu Reeves, and then immediately you're like, get him off the screen. He means nothing to this fucking plot. Like this is so like but he's doing exactly what he's supposed to do. That's what the character serves.
And then there's the guy from The Witch, who's the doctor.
Yeah.
Also great. He's got the best voice, ever, dude.
Yeah, he's amazing.
Emma Corrin as the wife of Aaron Taylor Johnson was fine, but Aaron Taylor Johnson just seems so out of place in this movie.
Who was he? He was the rich friend.
Yeah, somebody said that to me, and I was like, I could not agree more.
I don't even know who that. I've never seen that guy
Aaron
before, but he kind of played like a dick and like an annoying kind of.
He's a really good actor, and he's mega British. He's actually, he was just Kraven the Hunter in the latest Sony flop Spider-Man universe movie. But he's also like this, he was Kick-Ass. Do you remember Kick-Ass?
No.
You're really barking up Brendan's favorite trees here.
Spider-Man and Kick-Ass.
Kick-Ass is a good movie, dude. Also, he was in Bullet Train. He's just mega
Never
British
heard
and
that.
good looking. But he just like, you
No, I mean,
you don't like him, but also,
Yeah.
I wasn't like,
I don't think we need that. I didn't even think we need him, but I think like he provides a foil of like this the rational. I don't believe in anything supernatural.
Yeah, you
I
need
just
a
care about
skeptic.
making this money. I'm giving you money. Why aren't you more appreciative? Like kind of like the condescending patriarchal man in that time
And
period.
he did
and, like,
fund it all.
Yeah,
their
right.
house and shit. But I
Yeah.
do agree, as you say it. It didn't stick out to me as much watching it, but now that you say it, I'm like, no, but maybe that could have been a character that cut some lines from.
Yeah,
because the movie
just-
was long, so you need to cut something.
I just think that like most of the performances were like chaotic, unhinged is the
Yeah,
word.
and his was very hinged.
Yeah, he was hinged.
Well, he's
Like,
good when the kids die.
Once he gets a little crazy.
Yeah,
it's
yeah, but I
better.
lean
And he climbs into his
you're,
dead wife's
you're the
coffin.
guy
That was
that
pretty unhinged, but
if you're the guy everybody's supposed to dislike, that should be the best excuse to lean into
Right.
being, like really over the top. But also, this isn't necessarily like a thing, but the beheading eating of the pigeon was to me the hardest part of the movie to watch. That was
wild.
fucking
maybe
crazy.
it didn't affect, it didn't really affect me, but
Dude.
but
Because you ate a pigeon on the way over.
nah, just like
Hey,
it is
Jersey Gardens.
screwed up and like, but to me it's just like so. Yeah, I don't know. Forget
This
it. Tell
is
me why.
becoming a
Tell me
theme
why.
actually, because I was just re-listening to Terrifier, and Abbie pointed out like a woman is like fingering herself with glass, and people are getting scalped and chainsawed.
yeah.
And the thing that bothered
Will's
me
like,
the most,
yummy.
the killing of the rats got me. I didn't like
Mm-hmm.
it, and now I'm upset about the beheaded,
Yeah.
flying rat pigeon.
They kept that from the original Dracula and the pigeon eating.
Yeah,
the-
I thought
him
that
eating
character
the
was
head.
good. That was a good scary character, like him sort of losing his mind.
Yeah.
And him when he kills, they don't show it as much. I'm assuming. Wait, was this? It had to be R, but they still,
yeah,
but
definitely.
they still like held back because
We
clearly
just talked about hanging
right.
dong.
No, right, duh. But when he like eats the guard,
The warden.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like they don't show. It's gross, but it's dark. You don't see that much, and that creeped me out a lot. It
There
Yeah,
was-
that's
there
why Eggers like he just does
Right, he
things
doesn't
really
show
like
it.
tastefully
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
and
Well,
atmospheric.
he
The
sh-
atmosphere alone. That I thought this movie started off really well. Like I was like, oh man, I'm so ready. Like from the opening scene, I'm like, this is gonna be great. It was giving me shades of The Witch,
Yeah.
just like
Yeah.
the way it was filmed, the lighting, and I was like, ooh, and it just kept going
Oh,
on.
quite-
and on
Yeah,
and
They
yeah.
held
on
the
and
land
It
there.
dragged.
on and on.
Also, his commitment to shadows, especially the shadows
Yeah.
of the hand, were really great because that's
100%.
kind of iconic, like imagery from the original.
Yeah.
I've never seen
That
it, but I
German
even know
expressionism, yeah.
about the expressionist like
Yeah.
shadows.
What did you guys think about the way Nosferatu was depicted? Like versus the
Yeah.
original Nosferatu? Because like the original, he's emaciated, he's bald, he's got these long fingers, he's pale white with these dark,
Sounds like you're
paint around his eyes.
describing
What would
the same guy?
No, because
no,
this
no,
one
he's
he
got
looked like-
muscular.
Yeah.
He's got a mustache.
This one he looks like a 1980s baseball player.
And his-
Like-
his-
Keith Hernandez.
Yeah.
his flesh is decaying. He's wearing this big like hipster fur coat and shit. Like, what do you guys think about the mustache?
He's got a lot
Yeah,
of lesions.
he's hot in this one. He's a little hot.
He's not hot.
He's
dude.
a little hot.
His voice is hot, dude.
But what people like about the original so much is the way that
Right.
he's depicted.
Right.
Like it's
He's
so
almost non-human.
yeah, it's like it's so unsettling, and I think that's kind of like the selling point of that movie. It's like this guy probably if you saw that movie in 1922, you'd be like, "Whoa, this is
I mean, they did.
terrifying."
Yeah,
yeah,
exactly. Like this is so terrifying. I'm gonna have to like skin a cow to make a bootleg.
Why did they add the mustache to him? You know, and it apparently like because he's Transylvanian nobility. Apparently, Eggers was like, "We need a nobleman like him would have a mustache."
A noble like him, a demon. You know those real demons
He's a
from
count,
the
dude. Be respectful.
I
bro.
think Bill
One,
Skarsgård
two,
is
three.
amazing, and he's really he commits to these like very over the top
Yeah.
characters.
I didn't even know it was Bill Skarsgård until after I
Me
saw the
neither.
movie. But I also apparently he an opera coach trained him to lower his voice like.
So
You were octave.
Dude, he's so large. I would say instead of Bill Skarsgård, he's more like a Bill power forward center.
Well, what I was gonna say is I
Went
think
to a
that
basketball game yesterday.
it kind of got old. I loved the portrayal, but his first scene, that introduction to the villain that you're waiting for, was up there among introductions to
Yes.
it. Like the what's the word for villain that's better?
Antagonist?
Like, yeah, the antagonist. You know, like the entrance of Heath Ledger in The Dark Knight is one of the sickest scenes and introductions to a bad person. It wasn't quite that level, but he really the voice before you see him, then you see him in his hands, and like.
But
I
it was cool.
really
It was
like-
I
cool.
thought they pulled it off, but I do think though that one of the things keeping it from being like I am fucking terrified from this guy the way I felt in The Witch, the thing that kept it from that is that he's a character. He has talking. He has lines. It's like
Yeah.
it just takes away from it. You just start wrapping your head around who he is, what he looks like, what his dick looks like. It's just a little harder to like be terrified of.
I
him.
have to say something about the accent, dude. His voice. I will say I couldn't. Parts I just didn't understand like full sentence.
Oh, I
What
like
do you
that
think?
they did that.
You love not understanding him.
Well, I just thought it was like if anything, I wanted
Yeah, I love
to
not
understand
understanding.
less because the more I understood, the less scared I was.
I didn't like his voice.
You were saying before.
I didn't like the way he was depicted. Personally, I
No,
thought,
that's super fair.
Yeah, yeah.
What about the?
Yeah. The emphysema.
I don't know.
He was breathing the whole time.
Oh yeah, breathing heavily is so
loud.
unique for
No,
an
but it was
antagonist
the
of a horror
loudest breathing
movie.
I've ever heard. I almost had an asthma attack just watching it.
He looked like Jim Carrey from Sonic, the movie Sonic, like the big mustache.
the Dr. Eggman.
Yeah.
Well, Eggers.
Eggers. He needed an inhaler.
Do you guys remember Are You Afraid of the Dark? Are You Afraid of the Dark? The
I
show?
remember
It was
being
on Nick.
terrified of it and
so there
hiding
was
my
one.
eyes watching a Will Dubs.
Oh, it was great. It was on Nick. But it was about the kids every night they'd meet up around a campfire and someone would tell a scary story and then whatever. That was the TV show for the day. There was this one episode called The Tale of the Midnight Madness. And it was about these kids going to an abandoned or going to a pretty empty movie theater is probably the one that I went to in Wayne, New Jersey. But they're seeing Nosferatu, and Nosferatu comes out of the screen and chases these kids around the movie theater.
What? How'd they get the
And
copyright to this?
1993, dude, this terrified me more than anything.
1993.
Yeah.
You start forming memories.
Well, that's
at
when the
3.5.
the show was made. I
watched
watched
the
it
rerun.
later.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But the way they made the vampire look, they made him look exactly like Nosferatu. They called it something else in the episode, but I just thought like that
Nosferatu
depiction
3.
was so well done. Like I wish it was more like the original. Yeah,
okay.
that's all.
No,
but, yeah.
fair.
All right. A couple last things. Back to what you said about Eggers not necessarily showing stuff. He shows stuff, and when he does, it can be pretty brutal. Think the opening scene of The Witch involves a baby getting mortared and pestled.
Moided.
Yeah.
He's getting
and also-
Yeah, but you only see like the things dripping out of the side.
Dude,
You
yeah.
don't see the baby itself.
The amount of
there-
fire hose blood that was coming out in this movie was
Correct. But it's not direct.
You're not seeing in the wounds
You're
like
seeing a
Terrifier.
suggestion
Yeah.
of it. You're seeing you're not seeing it right on your face like Terrifier status.
Okay, of course
it's more
not, of
subtle.
course not.
It's more
Right.
subtle
but
and
it is
indirect.
It is still he does not.
It's horrific.
He doesn't shy away from gore. He just
No.
does
Right.
it tastefully.
Right.
All right. So to just elaborate on your thing to prepare for playing Count Orlok, Skarsgård lost weight and he didn't want to have his voice digitally modulated, so he worked with an Icelandic opera singer whose name I'm not even going to try to pronounce to lower his vocal range and character, incorporating Mongolian throat singing
Yes,
into
I
his
heard
line.
That makes sense because that's how that motherfucker sounded.
And the makeup took 6 hours per day. He said his experience was likened it to conjuring pure evil. Also, Holt was truly terrified. Apparently, the wolves were real, and there was a scene with the wolf handlers making the wolves chase Holt, and he actually was like, "They're gonna get me," and they had to be restrained.
Oh damn!
So he had to be saved from the wolves.
Let's get rid of that wolf. Anyone
so
that gets that reference.
That dong that you love seeing hanged is actually hanging up right now
I saw this.
at Holt's house and was gifted to him. So Skarsgård gifted him his prosthetic
Dracula's
dick
dead. Oh,
yeah,
whoa.
they gifted the prosthetic dick as a wrap gift.
to Holt, who now has it on his wall.
Every chick should have a picture of my dick on their wall.
Oh, what is that?
Rich boy.
Is that the
throw some
actor?
D's on him.
Oh,
Also, the gypsy scene was one take that took forever, very carefully choreographed, 30 tries or whatever. And those were not actors, which whoever casted the woman on the horse did a good job. All right, the last thing, and I'm curious what you think about this because I noticed I paid a lot of attention because it was boring. I was just looking at things that were beautiful and trying to figure out the composition because this guy puts so much into how he makes shit look. Towards the end, when Willem Dafoe and Lily Rose Depp walk away so that they can discuss the plan that she's in on and Holt isn't, the way it's shot is Dafoe is on the stairs up to his house or something, looking down, and he's in what in this movie would be considered colorful beige outfit, and looking down, and he's framed in
he was cacked out.
he was framed
Cacked out.
in this staircase so that he's kind of further away but centered. And then Lily Rose Depp was below, so the camera's looking down on her, and it's all black, and she's consuming the majority of the screen, including this black head dress that she's wearing. And I know, back to film classes that we took, all of this stuff is deliberate, and that was one thing that stood out to me, and I was like, what is he trying to say with the kind of domineering positioning of the more angelic looking Defoe versus this kind of gothic looking down on Lily Rose Depp?
Interesting. Wait, when was that in the
This is
plot?
almost towards the end. This is basically when they're agreeing that she has to sacrifice
Can I
herself.
walk you to your house?
She has to get the crow's cock.
Yeah, I wonder if it's like her representation of that she has to die and enter the darkness to save the
Maybe
the planet.
But I always I would love to hear. I also want a director to be like, I just thought this looked cool.
Honestly, Willem Dafoe, he's more like Willem Defriend in this because he's really helping out.
He was
the-
You really
nice-
do be the friend in this one.
It was filmed on 35 millimeter, whatever. About
So weird, like 35 millimeter. You would think that would be too small to like hit anything.
That's
That's so small. How do you even operate
That's
that?
3.5 centimeters, right?
I don't know. It's kind of
That's
crazy.
like my-
Hey, man, props to Eggers, honestly.
That's
more in-depth tech talk coming from us soon.
all right. Now this is going to bring us to a segment that we call Rotten Tomato, where I now have to explain this. We are going to estimate the value of the tomato meter. Apparently, our friends just thought we were idiot gringos and thought that sounded funny, but that this whole time has been
It's a pun. It hits on different ways.
Rotten Tomatoes. We got to spell it out, apparently. Anyway, so what's going to happen? I already know the score. You guys might, but I'm going to let Abbie and Brendan guess both the critic score and the audience score. It has become increasingly difficult to not see this, so we're also going to introduce IMDbater, which is a lot more unpredictable. But
And
let's
not just unpredictable, but Will's been saying it for all the episodes, and like normal, I tuned him out usually, and then I have really come to terms with it in the last few episodes of like how right he is that Rotten Tomatoes is a dichotomy. You get it's either good or bad, and so safe movies. I just saw one of them
Binary.
days with SZA and Keke Palmer. Great fun movie.
Yeah, it's like
super fun.
97%.
It's 97, but I get why. It's not like anyone's wrong. It's like no one would say that's a failing grade. It's a fun movie, but
Right.
like
Wait, you saw it?
yeah,
It was
but it's
good?
like it's a 7 out of 10, and yet it's a
Yeah.
97 because everyone
Yeah.
says it's a 7 out of 10. Whereas a movie that tries something, so it's like I really do agree that moving to some formats
still-
where you're actually rating what did you think of the movie, not just was it good or bad.
But it's still interesting to
yeah,
guess
no, it's super
what you
interesting.
think on the binary.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
also I would assume how did the audience when I fill out
Well,
an
that's
audience
the
review.
interesting part usually is
When I fill out an audience review on Rotten Tomatoes, is it just putting me as a 1 or a 0, a yes or a no, or is it actually letting me rank it out of 10 and then averaging
well, because
that?
you do fill it out of 5 stars. I wonder
So
if
I think
they weight
that's
it.
more closely to a normal rating than a
and
binary
that's the popcorn meter now, guys.
popcorn meter.
All
Okay,
right,
so
And I will say this: I did write a song for this segment. So
Oh.
let's play that puppy now. Please.
let's hear that song, Brendan.
You are about to find out if we really know what we're talking about. Are we frauds or are we connoisseurs? Here come our rotten tomato scores.
Wow, Brendan, that was really good or bad. You didn't actually play it for us live.
Thanks, dude. And guess what? You know what's really crazy is that I actually accidentally looked at the critic score.
Oh,
Of course.
3 weeks ago.
No one. I'm sure I see it, but I
Do you
just
think
I
it would-
can
it might
forget
have
everything.
changed.
Do you think in 3 weeks it would have changed?
It could
Yeah.
have changed.
Well, we'll do guesses.
Let's
but-
Abby. What do you think?
So I'm going to say I definitely think critic would be better than audience for sure because a lot of people I talked to did not like this movie.
You think
but
critics
they-
better than audience?
Yeah, definitely
Okay.
because a lot of people didn't like this movie because a lot of people didn't get their heart broken watching all the Dracula movies this year. Yeah, no, but I think that a lot of people
Abby's gonna-
didn't know. They're like I think a lot of people didn't know what they were watching and just thought it was going to be a scary ass movie. And like we know Americans love horror, or people of all countries love horror, and so that you'd be a little disappointed. It's a little too artsy if you're just going in for horror.
Yeah.
Critics, I think they get it. So I'm going to say critics. This is going to be an 84. This is my guess.
I'm not going to guess because I think I know what it is.
What do you think
Well,
you
guess we're
saw?
gonna go.
I think actually, you know what?
I think I
I
saw
think-
a putty cat.
I think I saw a putty cat. I think it's in the high 80s, if I remember correctly. I think 88.
right.
87.
Split the diff. It's an 85% now.
Wow. Okay.
And it did start higher, and it went down.
Okay.
Since.
Okay.
I fucking nailed it. I really get critics.
You get it.
I don't want to say anything because I want to hear
Finally.
Yeah. Waiting for that all day.
I want to hear your guesses about the popcorn meter audience scores.
Okay, so
All I'm gonna say is that. Well, it's just this has been a thing where we've seen these massive discrepancies for horror movies where the critics love it,
Yeah.
and the audiences.
I think
hate
that's
it.
that's what I'm saying. I think that this is going to be one of those because again, just anecdotally, a lot of people leaving that theater didn't like it, and you know, we're in New York, like with pretentious people. Like I think in the middle, you know, this is a wide release for a fucking art film essentially. So I'm going to say that the audience, the popcorn meter for this, I'm going to say is a 61.
Wow, that's really low.
I think I might have got too high.
That's still considered fresh. If it's
Yeah,
over
no, anything
60%,
over 50
because what was the
60.
last one we
60
did?
and above.
Blair Witch was in the low
57,
50s,
yeah, or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We think it's 61. All right.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say 70.
70.
It's 73, and that is much higher than I would have guessed because
I'm glad. I like you guys. Good job, popcorn meter heads.
I also think that most people didn't like it. Only like the Eggers heads and film, you know, like the people. So I was expecting way more like
yeah, what
this
the fuck,
movie.
dude?
It's just shadows
Yeah.
for 2 hours. I did still pull my two
I
favorite.
guess it is called Nosferatu, so it's not like it has this like catchy. It's not called like Dracula demon.
Dracula comes back and destroys part 3.
It should be called Dracula Fucks, dude. All right, these are my two favorite. What an awful movie. We left after 40 minutes. I called Fandango to try and get my $65 in credits back, but they couldn't do it. It was just our choice of a bad movie. Half a star. So
Those things just can't be true.
Who thinks
walks out of
they're
a
gonna
movie
get
at
a-
40 minutes though? Like,
yeah, but also who's gonna think that they could get a refund by saying that the movie wasn't good? Like, hey, we didn't like this. We didn't stay for the thing we
Yeah.
paid for. Therefore, you owe us. And then, you know, like the concession of the review was, it was just our choice of a bad movie.
I also like the white privilege in me is like, I could get that money back. I could get that money.
Yeah.
All right, now this one is utterly confusing. Great story, great villain, spelled Villan. The depth and character and backstory given to the main villain, in parentheses, Ellen, is unmatched in modern media. Half a star.
Bro, he watched that movie and thought Ellen was the villain.
Well, you could argue like
Trump supporter.
I don't
What? He's like, I
Like-
just saw a woman and I knew she was bad.
like what did he like? I don't know. Like technically, the plague you could say was kind of her fault, I guess. But
Wait, that's wild.
what I don't understand is he's like,
What?
he
How?
uses the word-
How is it her fault, dude?
Yeah.
well, it
She
doesn't-
asked for it, dude. She asked for that plague.
Well, she invited.
It's because she
she
was wearing.
invited
You
the-
see what she was wearing, dude? She asked for that plague.
She invited the nose fart, and he brought plague. But what I don't understand is the way this is written is very positive, unmatched in modern media. Great story, and then it's a half a star.
That is so
Yeah, very weird. I
What
mean,
a
people are
take.
dumb, dude. It's
Bizarre.
internet. People
I
suck.
didn't
guy on
scroll
the
down
show.
very far. There were probably some really good
Yeah.
ones in there. All right.
All right.
So IMDb. This is just who knows. I'm very curious what you guys.
This is
think.
out of 10.
I don't even know.
8 star, 9. What is it?
out of 10 out of 10
Nine.
stars.
Yeah, 9 stars.
And
we
it
got
is-
a 0.3 to 9 star rating.
It's a
meter.
classic 7-star rating.
Well, it is weighted, and it's a combination of.
10 stars.
How long is it waited?
In this case, it is a combination of user reviews and critic reviews.
All right, I'm gonna guess 6.3 stars.
I don't even remember. I don't know what the barometer here is.
That's why this is fun.
Because isn't it harder core? I feel like I'll see good movies and it'll be like a 7.8 on IMDb, right? Don't things like
Yeah,
not go that
nothing
high?
very good-
Wait,
nothing
can you give
ever
us
gets-
real quick? Let's throw out a pace setter like the rabbit
The
in the dog race.
Exorcist?
Yeah, what's Exorcist?
all right, yeah, this is 8.1.
8.1. That's what I'm saying. So things like don't go high.
Yeah,
Whereas like
6.3.
Rotten Tomatoes things go to
I'm gonna
90.
say 6.3.
Yeah. Okay. IMDb. I think those on IMDb are pretty fucking smart.
Fucking hash, dude.
They're
They're
fucking
fucking mad
hash.
hash. Wicked hash.
I'm gonna say 6.9.
It's 7.3. This is only user
Holy
only
crapola.
user rated.
It's a pretentious crowd.
Oh,
Yeah, but
this
you would
is
think that they would give it
interesting.
low. That being pretentious, they would give it low.
No, pretentious
This is-
art filming.
It wasn't art, dude.
It was
that was
shadows.
art.
Pretentious people love shadows, dude. Have you seen Sonic 3? One of the main character's name is Shadow.
So you can filter by country, which I'm wondering if how much dumber and the U.S. has 7.6.
Romania is probably popping off on this.
what's Romania's?
Well, we don't have Romania, but we have Germany 7.3, United Kingdom 7.3, Canada 7.5.
What about Czech Republic? That's where they filmed it.
Wait, all of them are higher than 7.3. How does it?
Yeah, they're just like
average
one
out?
country.
All right. The moral of the story is IMDb
this
can
is
just take a
New
long
Zealand
walk
hates
up a
it.
short castle.
Yeah.
All right. Well, now the more important metric. What did you guys rate it? Final scores.
Let me think.
I liked it.
Yeah, I thought it was good.
I think I'm gonna give it a fuck. I don't remember how we score anything.
Yeah.
You
So
pick a thing. We basically stole it from.
I go back and forth between rating it how much I enjoyed it and also how much I thought it was a good movie. In this case, I rated it based on how good of a movie I thought it was, and I gave it 8.0 Dead Ragdoll Daughters.
I like that.
I'm gonna give it 7.8 cloves of that G, baby, and that's garlic.
Oh,
Chop it up.
close the
Oh,
G.
There was a little garlic ref.
There was.
I'm gonna give it 8.0. No, 7.90. 7.935352654.
Pie.
Almost pi.
Okay,
you know,
what
I
is
could
it?
say a lot of pi.
In the sky.
3.14159265535.
Why?
Check me. It could be wrong. I could make anything up.
Oh,
no,
yeah.
that is right.
That
That's
was
right.
with
That's
conviction.
right. I spent one day in high school. So 7.93 something something something.
Repeating.
7.93 repeating. Little Holt / Keanu Reeves cuck boyfriends.
All right. Oh, and check us out on YouTube now. We're on YouTube and
Yeah.
watch the Blair Witch episode.
YouTube,
it's
Spotify,
special. It's a movie. It is
Apple
the Blair Witch.
Podcast.
All that stuff. All right, babies.
Check it out, baby.
Bye-bye.
Wee-moo.
2 men and a baby. Oh yeah. 2 men